Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Peacock Session number 7. This will likely be the second to last session of the Peacock Sessions, which is very exciting. Let's see here. Okay, that's not a warning I need to worry about. So I'm gonna just bring this in right here. And I see the FBI's here again. All right, so as you can see, we are doing the Peacock. And so in the Peacock session, just for those of you that have not been here before on the Peacock session, I was asked to do a tutorial on a Peacock. The person who asked me to do it could not afford to purchase one from me. However, I told them that I would record it, and unfortunately, my phone, when I was recording something else, hi Lenny, ended up running out of space. So I'm doing them live so that I have them saved on the internet, and that way I can just download them and move them over to YT when I am ready to do that. So all that to say, this is session number 7 on the Peacock, and that is what we are working on today or this afternoon. Going to bring in some golden acrylic paint in the color Pearl, and we're going to put a base down on some of these. And if you want to know how to do any of this, it will be up on a free replay on my website when it's all said and done. I did order the things that I needed to finish it yesterday from Sherp. Drop the base down low. Okay, so I did order the watercolors that I mentioned that I needed in order to finish the metallic called Atlantis from Artistic Isle Watercolor yesterday. Don't know when that'll get here, but once I get those, then we'll finish the centers of these little eyes of the peacock feathers. But for today, we're gonna work on his back. What I'm doing is just using that acrylic paint, watering it down a little, and I'm gonna just start by putting some of that acrylic paint into some of these little cells here. Now I have the peacock inspiration picture up on my computer. I'd show it to you on my iPad, but my iPad's dead and I don't have a cord to plug it in right now, so unfortunately I cannot show it to you. But we're just going to go ahead and do this, and then once the acrylic is dry, go over it, stain it, glaze it, all that good stuff with the watercolor. Lenny, what'd you do for lunch today, girlfriend? Move this up here. And I just dab my finger on some of that. But I had a Q-tip just to get some of that off this gold, because I don't want to lose the gold that we've already put down I'm probably already going to have to go over a lot of the gold again anyway. But I'm trying to preserve what I do have already in hopes of it not being a big job. Now, you don't have to lay the acrylic down first if you don't want to. That's not your thing. This is kind of a new process for me. I'm just enjoying exploring it, figuring it out. Kind of interested in seeing how like some of these chunks kind of show up like this instead of doing the whole thing. I don't know, maybe we should just do some and see. It'll be a lot more vibrant and metallic with this underneath it. But I do kind of like the idea of having this here under all of them. Just dabbing some areas that I missed down in there. There you go. Just gonna go back in and pick some more of that up towards the tip of the brush because it's kind of working its way up. What are you doing, donkey? What are you barking about? I'm crazy. She's a crazy girl. All right. So I want to give you a little feel for what this is going to look like here. Excuse me. So these peacock feathers back here are very like limey green with some like oranges in the center. I don't really have a limey green, but what I do have is a very bright yellow that I can mix to make a limey green. So I'm going to clean off this section of my mixing palette right here. And I'm going to bring in my Indian yellow deep right here. Must be getting a package delivery or something. And let me go in with some of this cobalt teal, because I think that's going to give me the color I'm looking for here, or at least pretty close to it. Yeah. I guess I'm getting a package. Grab just a little bit more of that yellow, brighten it up just a hair. Okay, so now you can see what that looks like. And what we're gonna do is go over that acrylic that we just painted with this watercolor. And what it's gonna do is it's going to give it almost like a glaze. I know it doesn't look like much yet, and that's because I have too much on there. So I'm gonna just pick up some of that from here and drop it into some of these other cells over here. And usually I do a couple of layers of this sort of glaze situation, because it needs time to, not time, it needs layers to build up to what I'm going for here. And in case you're wondering, the acrylic, it of course seals the paper, the watercolor paper underneath it. So the watercolor itself is not going to be absorbed into the paper. It's just going to dry and sit on top of the acrylic. But what it does is it creates kind of this almost stained glass kind of effect on top. I'm going to pick up some of these extra little areas here. It creates this stained look on top that allows this metallic to show through in a way that's quite interesting, at least in my opinion. And just gives an interesting look to your work. That's what we did with all of these. So take it for what you want. If you like it, great. If you don't do it. It's up to you. I wanted to give you an idea of what that's going to look like. You can already start to see these greens are sitting on top of here compared to over here. But I'm going to continue with painting in some of these cells, or well, all of these cells, with that acrylic paint. Again, I'm using the golden acrylic paint in Iridescent Pearl. And I'm just watering it down a little bit as I use it to make it a little bit more malleable. And again, this is session number 7 of the Peacock Sessions, and the replays will be available for free on my website once I am completely done with this work. So you can make it for yourself or for a loved one. The original will be for sale at some point too. I don't know what it will be priced at just yet because I need to see how many hours have gone into it. So far it's been quite a few, so it'll definitely be several $100s in case you're wondering. Ballpark. Will definitely be more towards the $500 range than the $200 range. It is painted with professional quality paints. Not professional quality, professional paints. on professional Arches watercolor paper by me, the professional. At least that's what I call myself. So, yeah. I may sell copies of it as well. I'm not quite sure. I typically will sell inexpensive copies of the day-to-day stuff that I do on my morning TikTok lives, because that's like the art that we create together every day. But this is a huge project. This is a huge labor of love. And I feel like when I am using all of my professional supplies and I'm spending hours and hours on this. I mean, we're probably at least up to 10 hours by now, if I had to guess. I feel like selling prints of these for just $30 like I do on my other ones is not a fair price for me. So I will probably, if I do prints, they will be much more than that. Probably closer to the $80 range for an 8x10. Maybe more. I need to look at what prices are going for that sort of thing. But as an artist, my time, my expertise, my tools, everything are valuable, and I don't apologize for charging what I know that I am worth and what I know that my work is worth. And you all will get to see it firsthand when I post the replays. And if you want to try it for yourself, you absolutely can. And that will save you time and energy and money. Maybe not energy, just the energy of spending a lot of money on the original. That's the beauty of it. There's only one original. And I did get to make my own watercolor for this peacock blue because I couldn't find what I was looking for that. anywhere on the internet. So, I was debating whether or not I should at least make some of that and sell it in half pans on my website. I do not want to be someone who makes watercolors like for retail. I would rather be the artist, but I also feel like if this is something people are going to want to buy, that's going to be something people are going to want. So I may end up doing something like that. We'll see. The rest of the metallic watercolors are by Artistic Isle Watercolor. She truly makes the best watercolor metallics. The girl's name is Lindsay. I say girl, she's a grown-ass woman. But I've been buying her products since 2019, I believe. 2018 or 2019, but I'm pretty sure it was 2019. I'm gonna grab my Q-tip again because I'm starting to get a little too much on this gold. I'm just gonna wipe it. All right. That should just about cover it for that. There are just a few little spots I can see that I'd like to cover just a little bit better here and there. So I'm just going to get some diluted water with some of that paint. That way it kind of just goes into those areas without a problem, because obviously the water will go where it wants to go. But everywhere else is kind of thick enough that we don't really need to worry about it. Okay, so that should be good for that. What I'm going to do is re-wet this color that we mixed up here. And I'm going to start dropping it into those areas that we were already working with. And I've really been wanting to bring this up closer because I feel like you guys can see it when I bring it up closer to the camera. But if I zoom in with the camera, then it kind of does this weird pixelation thing. So I feel like maybe if I bring it up, it'll do better for you. I don't know. Let's see. So I've got this, and I'm basically just bringing it in up here and glazing each of these. And you can see there's some pooling of some of the watercolor pigment in there, which is fine. What I'm going to do is just take my brush as I go and pick it up and continue to glaze. We're going to be working in layers here. So some of these might look a little thinner than others, and that's okay. They're all going to be a little bit different. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm saying this because people are popping in and out during the live, that this is just the first layer of the glaze we're putting over the acrylic, and the glaze is just watercolor. So we're just getting that first green tint on here, and we're going to continue to go in and add and tint and all that good stuff as we go. Okay. I'm gonna move this box because it's kind of hard for me to see it now. I'll just put this back over here. And I'm just gonna take a quick peek and make sure kind of got in all these little areas. Okay. There was one area that I think I got some fuzz from the Q-tip in, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't have any more. All right, so we've kind of got this base down. I will go ahead and zoom in. It's going to look wonky for a second, so bear with me. And there we have it. Like I said, this looks weird when I zoom in, and I feel like it doesn't really give you like the full picture of what you're looking at here. Maybe that does it a little bit better. But you can see what we did was lay down the acrylic first, and then we put the watercolor glaze over it. So it's very thin, a very thin glaze to start off with. But now what we're going to do is we're going to start focusing on each individual piece of these feathers to really start bringing out like individual things in each of them. So as you know, if you've been watching or when you watch this replay, the colors that we are using are a mixture of Indian Yellow Deep and Cobalt Teal. And so I'm going to put some of that glaze in there, and I'm going to grab a little bit more of the yellow, of the Indian Yellow Deep. I'm just going to drop some of that in there. So it's going to almost make this sort of stained glass effect. That's going to look really cool. And I'm going to grab some more of that. I'm going to go next door to this one here. And that one looks pretty cool already, but I'm going to grab some more of the Cobalt Teal and drop it into the corner like that. And I know you can't see it all that well, so I'm going to bring it up. And now you can see what that looks like. So it looks really good. And then as that dries, you'll be able to see the metallic through it. And it looks almost like there's a metal base underneath it, which is very cool. And if you wanted to, you could always drop some sort of metallic watercolor on top of it to bring out a little bit more of that shimmer. I'm just going to go ahead and dry this so you can see what it looks like dry. And I probably will use some sort of metallic over the top of it, because that's what we did with all of these. But I also wanted you to see what the effect looks like after we added the second layer, if you were to just let it dry as is. There we go. So if you were to look at this and see what it looks like if it was dried as is, you can see it's got a reflective quality to underneath it. So hopefully the camera picks that up. So now what I'm going to do is just decide which shimmers I want to put on top of there. And I'll probably keep them relatively light because I like the colors we did here. So I'll probably just grab this yellow I have over here called Lumos. And I'm just going to drop it over the top here. Like that. And this one, I think I'm going to grab this one called Emerald. And I'm just going to paint it a little bit over the top. And now I'll go ahead and dry those. There you go, what that looks like. And then we'll just keep on keeping on. There we go. All right, so now you can see, whoops. Now you can see it looks like it has an even more metallic underlayment to it, even though it's that metallic is sitting on the top. Almost like a three-dimensionality to it, which is just really pretty. So I'm just going to keep going. You guys are welcome to watch. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat. Again, these will be available on a replay on my website once all of this is done. This is probably going to be the second to last one. This is Peacock session number 7. The last one will be once I get the paint in that I need to finish the eyes of this. So, which is Atlantis. Ordered it yesterday. Don't know when it'll be in, but it'll be in at some point. So I'm just going to keep working on this. Again, if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just be sitting here being a heavy breather through my nose that is very stopped up right now. today. Can you believe we are on Peacock session number 7? By the way, for those of you that are currently watching, this is because of Smile. She wanted a peacock, so I obliged. Peacock session number 7. It is, isn't it? I love when it finally reaches that point where it starts actually looking like something that, like, you're excited to see, you know? It's like you can start to imagine it finally, and it's like, oh, yeah. Let's see, what colors do I want to add to this one? I think I'll do... I'll leave that. Maybe this one. I think we'll have probably one more session after this one to finish it, but I know I'm zoomed in really far right now. So I made this watercolor because I couldn't find the perfect peacock blue, so I made this one, and then I ran out of the Atlantis, which is like this kind of color, to do the centers of these little eyes. So I'm waiting for that to come in. I had to reorder some, so that's why they're not all done. And then I'm going to start adding to the background and doing the face and stuff probably next session, which will be the last session, when I also drop those in there. And I may also do one more layer of all this gold, since it's gotten a lot of watercolors and stuff on it. But aside from that, this is almost done. And I have all of it filmed on a live from TikTok each session, so I can post the replays and you can paint to your heart's content with it. I'm going to bring this in closer so you can see it so far. So you can see that underlay of the acrylic is just really pretty. All right, so my kids are going to be getting home from school in probably the next 15 to 20 minutes, so I am going to try to speed this up a bit. And to do that, I'm going to just start laying down colors one at a time in random spots. Okay, so there's that blue. Now I'm going to go in with Cascade Green. All right, next I will go in with the green that we mixed up at the beginning. All right, next I'm going to do the sap green. Okay, I'm going to go in with the phthalo turquoise, which I think might be a little too close to the other turquoise we did, but that's okay. I won't tell if you don't tell. All right, now I'm going to go in with the yellow, the Indian Yellow Deep. Okay, so now we have just a few left. And I'm kind of debating on using this quinacridone gold because it could end up looking orange or it could end up looking yellow. And I feel like if I put it right next to there, it kind of ends up looking the same. And I want it to be just different enough that you can see the difference. So I'm just going to lift that up there. Let's see. Maybe the better thing to do would be to try the cobalt blue. Let's see. I feel like there's plenty of blue on there, and I don't know how well this covers, because some of these other ones cover just a tiny little bit better. What if we brought in some of my favorite? Let's see if bringing in any of my blue that I made for the peacock will help. Yeah. Okay, shoot. Yeah, that cobalt teal didn't exactly cover. It kind of just went straight to the side, so I'm just trying to find. I think this was the one I started to do with that orange, so I'm just going to cover it here. Okay. And I think the rest I'm just gonna cover with a little dab of green from over here and call it a day. Okay. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to do one more right in here because that one does not seem to have any color. All right, let me hit this. Hi, Lori! Good afternoon. Fancy seeing you here. Oh, no. Okay, so this is what I have. Right? So this is what I have for his little butt. Or back and butt. His little butt. I'm gonna do this because I feel like you can see it in the wow. Ooh. So there's still a couple little areas that I feel like need a little bit of help. So I'm just gonna take the tip of my brush while it's still wet and kind of just move some of this pigment over so it covers it. It's just a few little spots. And sometimes it's hard to tell until it's dry and then you can see where it didn't quite cover all the way. And some of these I might even still go in with a little bit of that shimmer we talked about. Some of it might not be necessary. Okay. I think I'm going to leave that alone for now, because I think it's looking good. Now, before my kids get home from school, which will literally be any second, and my mom decided she wanted to pick them up today, and I was like, I ain't gonna argue with you there, Mom. I am going to go up to the peacock's face, and I want to drop in some silver. Okay, that's not what I meant to do, but that's fine. Around where the white is supposed to be. We're going to do more on it later, but I want to at least get this part in and going. And probably what I'll end up doing is going back in with that white or that pearl acrylic. But for now, I don't want to give up too much control on the paper by sealing off the pores on the paper with the acrylic. So I'm just gonna do this for now. Let's see. His nose is kind of a deep, dark blue. Like his nostril area. His eye is definitely more black. Oh, hey, Lindsay. I am hosting a Florida Gin and Chill tonight. What are you doing? And then for his eyeball, I am going to just put in some indigo. And then towards the end, when we start doing like the details of everything, I'll put some sort of white sparkle in his eye because he's going to look so beautiful. 7:30 Eastern. I'd invite Lindsay, but I know she's going to reject me. Because I don't want to be on camera. Even though she don't have to be. I hope you can. You can join late if you want to, boo. Look at this guy. Isn't he looking so handsome? Let me do this. Okay. He's getting there. He's looking pretty cute. Looking pretty cute. Okay. So, I think the next session is going to be the last one. And in that session, what we're going to do is do all the frilly things in the background. We're going to add some shadows and stuff and some highlights. We're going to add the centers that are still missing to some of these peacock eyes. I did order the Atlantis that I was missing, that I needed in order to finish, which is this one. Ordered it yesterday. And hang on one second. Hi, boy.
Mama.
Hang on one second. I'm wrapping up a live, okay? My kids are here, so I got to go. But stay tuned for the rest, and then the replays will be on my website when it's done. So I hope to see you tonight, Lori. I hope to see you tonight, Lindsay. And I will see you guys later. Bye.